This is a special video today because the news was so big. A preemptive strike by Israel on Hezbollah in Lebanon with 100 plus jets. We will discuss. First, we will discuss who was successful today. Both sides claim to be. Second, what is the biggest risk for Israel? Hint, it's not a weapon. Third, what is my advice for Israel to get rid of Hezbollah in Lebanon? News recap. Israel today saw Hezbollah in Lebanon mobilizing thousands of rocket launchers, and Israel struck first with 100 Israeli jets. Still, Hezbollah launched over 300 Katyusha rockets and drones. One fatality in Israel and minimal damage. A few fatalities in Lebanon. The first question, who was successful? Hezbollah leader Nasrallah said it was a successful revenge for the killing of the Hezbollah founder Shukar a few weeks ago. You know him, the nice guy who killed 240 plus US Marines in Beirut in 1983. Was Hezbollah's attack a success? Hezbollah called this the quote first phase unquote of their revenge. If it was successful, it wouldn't need a second phase. Though today it was not a real success. But Hezbollah's long-term strategy may work. They have between 100,000 and 200,000 missiles. They can launch 1,000 missiles a week at Israel for years. That will terrorize the Israeli population and eventually wear them down. Hezbollah can win the war without ever declaring war. Later, I will discuss one way Israel can defeat that strategy. What was the biggest risk to Israel? Escalation of war with Hezbollah? No. Hezbollah missiles must be dealt with sooner or later. Better sooner, as later you'll have more rocket quantity and more precise rockets. Was the risk to Israel the Iran-backed militias in Syria or Iraq, or the Houthis in Yemen? No, they are too few or too far away. Was the biggest risk escalation with Iran itself? No, Iran has already promised a quote bloodlust against Israel for the killing of the Hamas leader Haniyeh in Iran 3 weeks ago. Can you escalate from a bloodlust? The real big risk to Israel of the preemptive strike is clear. Upsetting Big Brother, the United States. The U.S. has spent a lot of time and effort with their shuttle diplomacy to reach a ceasefire deal in Gaza. They might be angry if they feel Israel is upsetting the apple cart. Israel cannot afford to make the U.S. angry. The U.S. is the number one supplier of weapons. And Israel wants the U.S. warships and the nuclear submarine to stay in the area as long as possible. They greatly enhance Israel's defensive capabilities, and they can assist in any offensive counterattack. And Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran both know the key to defeating Israel is separating it from its main ally, the U.S. So, Israel cannot be seen as starting wars to avoid a peace deal in Gaza. To me, this article is the most important. It says, quote, Pentagon chief reaffirms commitment to Israel's defense. And this also is big news. The Abraham Lincoln was supposed to replace the Teddy Roosevelt aircraft carrier strike group, but now both will stay in the area. Those ships are quite high-tech and powerful and are a sign that ties between the U.S. and Israel are not fraying. Bad news for terrorist governments everywhere. So how can Israel defeat Hezbollah? First, one has to realize Hezbollah is not the same as Hamas. Hamas are global jihadists, zero interest in governing or the people of Gaza. That's why Gaza has 0 bomb shelters, and so many hospitals there and schools and mosques are simply missile launch sites. Their view is that if Israel fires back then they can blame them for killing quote-unquote civilians. They don't care about civilian deaths. In fact, Hamas raises every Gazan boy and girl to become a martyr or shaheed, their greatest aspiration. They're part of the Islamic resistance movement. They are the most extreme. Hezbollah is not so extreme. They're a political party that runs the country of Lebanon. They want to stay in power. They hate Israel, it's true, but they're not suicidal. Big difference. In my opinion, Israel needs to communicate secretly with Nasrallah and the Lebanese government. They need to propose a simple, secret peace deal, limited time offer. Israel will support your governing and help your economy with trade, technology, big financial loans, etc. And you must give up all your missiles and drones and demolish every tunnel in southern Lebanon. Otherwise, Israel will bomb your command and control centers and take out your entire government. Remember, Lebanon is almost 40% non-Muslim. The current government won't accept the peace deal. After they're gone, the next government may go for it. Nasrallah is afraid of Israel. He gave his speech today from a secret location. That means he wants to live. Being afraid is halfway there to becoming a friend. Why not show Nasrallah and his government how much better life could be with Israel as an ally instead of an enemy? Well, that's just my opinion, of course. Want real Middle East news analysis? Come join my channel. I'll see you next video. Cheers.